This is KGW News at 5.
Good evening and welcome to KGW News at 5. I'm Blair Best. We start with a big push to recognize the need for more mental health support in Oregon. Right now, state lawmakers are considering several bills aimed at suicide prevention. Catherine Cook shows us how advocates will be at the Capitol tomorrow to make their case.
I never wanted to die. I don't want to die, but my brain every day, I have to fight those thoughts because I do live with chronic suicidal ideation.
Angela Perry has found a way to turn her pain into purpose.
Our goal is to give others hope.
She's board chair of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention Oregon chapter, and she's a staunch advocate for destigmatizing mental health.
I just hope other people are able to see it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay there.
On Monday, Angela and other advocates will be in Salem. They'll offer testimony on 3 bills aimed at supporting suicide prevention services. 2 go before lawmakers on Monday. Those bills focus on suicide prevention by supporting training resources for medical professionals. Last week, a House committee heard testimony on a 3rd bill, HB 2757. It asks lawmakers to support a 50-cent cell phone tax to fund services connected to 988. It works like 911. But callers are routed straight to mental health crisis lines. Since Oregon transitioned to 988 in July, call centers like Lines for Life have received an average of 684 more calls per month. So it's working. But advocates say in order to meet that growing need, this additional funding is critical.
The 988 system has brought me hope that I haven't had in over 30 years, but the work is not complete.
We have a sense of urgency about its passage because it's an essential element of our work to save lives and reduce Oregon's high suicide rate.
According to the CDC, Oregon ranks 13th in the nation for deaths by suicide. It's a statistic that hits Angela in a very personal way, even beyond her own struggles. In 2017, her Aunt Jean died by suicide. She lived just a few miles from this park.
We used to come and walk around here when I was struggling with my mental health. She's the one who talked me into going back to therapy. So part of the reason why I am still here today.
And why she's still here for others.
Suicide doesn't have to be the end answer.
In Tigard, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Well, if you or someone you know is in crisis or just need someone to talk to, 988 is the number to call. You'll be connected with local organizations and resources if needed. Oregon's Department of Transportation is trying to create safer crosswalks across the state, but it means, in some cases, closing them. Engineers will be evaluating more than 25,000 crosswalks to decide what can be done to improve them, or if part of the intersection should be closed to crossings. Now, some need to be brought into compliance with Americans with Disabilities standards. ODOT will be looking at the number of crashes involving pedestrians or bicyclists at the intersections, how busy the intersections are, and if there is a pedestrian crossing signal. High traffic areas like Barber Boulevard, for example, will get the most scrutiny.
People are going to notice a difference in their neighborhoods, and we hope the neighbors will understand this is going to take a little bit, but we think that people will recognize this and will see that this is going to make things safer.
Work has already been done on Southeast Powell Boulevard near Cleveland High School to try and make it safer for students walking in the area. Now to get you caught up on today's headlines. The U.S. has shot down another unidentified object. This one was over Lake Huron. A U.S. military fighter jet fired a missile at the object just before noon our time today. It was described as an octagon with strings hanging off. It's the 4th flying object in less than 2 weeks to be downed over North American airspace, including the Chinese spy balloon. Administrative officials say today's object was not a military threat, but could have posed a risk to civilian aircraft, and many have had surveillance capabilities. 6 days after the devastating earthquakes in Turkey and Syria, Turkish authorities are now arresting contractors who were allegedly involved with the buildings that collapsed. At the same time, rescuers found even more survivors in the rubble this weekend, including a pregnant woman, and 2 children. There are concerns, though, that the rescue response has been painfully slow and that time has been wasted getting to people who may still be alive. An estimated 33,000 people were killed in the quakes. And back locally, a warning to be careful on the North and Central Oregon coast over the next few days. A high surf advisory begins tomorrow and lasts through 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Emergency officials are warning of large waves up to 25 feet. Anyone close to the beach should keep an eye out for sneaker waves, rolling logs, and erosion that could damage oceanfront property. Well, some of us are also looking at a chance of snow this week. Let's check in with Daisy Caballero for a first look at your forecast.
Yeah, Blair, thanks so much. Yeah, let me go ahead and walk you through what our models are showing. We're expecting to see some rain along the coast later tonight. And as we're waking up and kicking off our Monday, a lot more of that activity and also mountain snow into those higher elevations. But the big question is, when could the I-5 corridor see some of that snow? Well, our best bet is Monday night into early Tuesday morning, right around 2 o'clock in the morning. So many of us are going to be well asleep, not even awake yet when the system passes our neck of the woods. But as we're looking at 8 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, that system just moves right on by. All right, so these are our headlines and what you need to know for Monday. Again, numerous showers and breezy conditions. There is a possibility for afternoon thunder, and at elevation of 500 feet, we can expect to see a trace to 2 inches of snow, but for the valley floor, nearly a trace to an inch in some areas. But I'll have that full forecast coming up.
Well, Super Bowl 57 has definitely kicked off, and Chiefs and Eagles fans are hyped. And there are plenty of them right here in Portland. Kansas City and Philadelphia fans have sure found each other, gathering at 2 different bars in the area. The Chiefs fans are at Pono Brewing in Northeast Portland, while the Eagles Nest, as they call it, has gathered at Coach's Bar and Grill in Southwest.
This is a second family. I never knew that there was a nest out here until 2017, so it's a great feeling.
Most of us are KC natives transplanted out here to Portland, and the team is something that's always brought the community together.
Well, the game is in the second quarter now, and the Eagles have the lead 21-14. Well, a pretty cool moment happened before the Super Bowl today. An all-women crew did the flyover during the national anthem. The team is assembled to commemorate 50 years of flying in the Navy. The flyover featured 2 F-18 Super Hornets and an F-35 Lightning. Well, a woman in Vancouver was thrilled to see that flyover. She's a retired fighter pilot with 20 years of experience in the cockpit. Photojournalist Ken McCormick introduces us to the woman who is known as Bambi.
This weekend they are celebrating the 50th year of women flying in the Navy, and there'll be the flyover at the Super Bowl with a predominant amount of the women who fly will be flying in that, as well as the support crew. My name is Laura Kruger, and when I was in the Navy I was known as Bambi. Bambi's the call sign. Yeah, I still have my original helmet and original flight boots that I've done every combat flight, every training mission. It's always exhilarating flying, but when you get this many jets this close together, every flight is exciting. This is going to show your F-35, that's going to be piloted by a woman. It's going to show your F-18, also known as the Rhino, that's going to be piloted by a woman, as well as the E-18 Growlers is going to be piloted, and the backseater will also be a female, which is incredible. This is how you tell your story of what you've done. If you're a naval aviator, these are like all your deployments that you've been on, and always look up and wish that you were still doing it. Good memories. You'll always miss that and miss the feeling. And when you're in the flyover, you kind of create little moments and be like, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. So this is part of the arresting gear. Usually you're just proud to be there and helping represent the men and women that are out there flying. I will watch the Super Bowl, but I will not be scheduling my life around it now. If it's a nice day, I'll probably be outside. It's pretty amazing. I think the Navy has come a long way, and it's nice to see that they're celebrating and giving attention to the women who are serving now and in these type of roles. But it's also kind of a little disheartening because we wonder why. Is it, 2023 and we still have to say, oh, look, women fly. Oh, great memories, great memories. If I didn't have a family, I would wish I would be up there flying with them, absolutely. I'm proud, and I'm definitely more proud of the women that are coming behind me and the things that they're accomplishing, absolutely.